Good afternoon all. I suppose I'm here to provide a slightly different perspective about how we as a bank think about big data, about how we use it, how we consider it and how we think we use it for our customers. Just reflecting on some of Wolfgang's comments actually. So when you think of a bank, you think of branches and you think of things like that, you think people going in to do transactions. Our busiest branch isn't our flagship branch at Piccadilly Circus. Our busiest branch is I think it's the 7:05 from Reading into London every day. So that's the busiest time when our branch, our mobile banking app. So everybody on their phone checking their balances. That's our busiest branch. I think the other interesting thing to say is the average person for Barclays Bank who uses our mobile banking application logs onto their mobile banking 30 times a month. So 30 times a day, 30 times a month, more than 30 times a month, somebody would log on to online banking to check their balances, make a payment. And so the nature of banking is changing. And for us, as a 325-year-old institution, we've changed more in the last 10 years than we have in the 315 years before that. And that is about the coalescence of digital and data and the impact that's having on not only us, but our customers' expectations. And I think we consider ourselves to be custodians of our customers' data. We take that obligation. It's an awesome obligation, and we take that responsibility very seriously, and I want to talk to you about that. We want to use data to give customers access to better products and services. We want to give them frictionless experiences, something they didn't have before, and that's the way we like to think about things. But I think the other reflection I would make is we know that we're at the beginning of this curve. We're not at the end of it. And if you think about the things that are coming in terms of PSD2 and AML4 and the General Data Protection Act, those regulations will drive how we behave as an organisation. We welcome the regulation. We want all players in the ecosystem be treated equally in that process. But this is the beginning, not the end. So I think we're in the beginning of a very, very exciting journey. Where do I go? So before I will do is jump into some examples about how we use our data, how we use it to create new products and services, and how we use it to help provide better information for existing products and services. But before we started our journey about building a data business and building what we call an information business within the bank, we spent a lot of time thinking about how we will do this, the conditions in which we will operate. And we came together with 10 principles for how we guide our decision on how we use the data that we have in our customers, how we play it back to them. And I think, I won't read them out to you, but I think the most important thing is we wholly believe that it has to add value to them. We have to protect them. We have to keep their data up to date. And we'll only use data that is anonymised and aggregated. So if we think that in any way, shape or form you could work out who a customer is and that data is not available. We don't sell our data. Our data is not available to sell. We would never sell a customer list. And so those sort of tenets, those sort of views has helped driven us to build the information business that we're building, to build our analytics capability, and it drives all our decision making. And these 10 principles are core to our business and core to the way we behave. So just a couple of examples about how we use it internally. So the first one is just how we present information to customers about how instead of sending them a simple prompt saying, would you like a loan, we give them much more contextual information about how much money would you like to borrow, over what terms, and so they can really make informed decisions about how much money they could or will borrow. So it's all about giving them better information to help them make better decisions. And we can also roll out the same technology into our branch network, so enabling our people in our branches to have better conversations with customers about their financial position and how we can help them make better financial decisions. And so the other thing we've done is we've built out a series of what we call big data products, and I'm just going to show you some examples of those. The first one is about how we think about our business. So we think about our business not in terms of our customers, not in terms of just their size, but their data needs, the complexity of their business and all those things. And so as a result of that, we've built out and we are building out a range of new products and services that we're offering to our customers. So the first one is something that's called Barclays Local Insights. Barclays Local Insights was first launched about 2 or 3 years ago, and it was the first capability that we built. When we started with building our data platforms, we wanted to understand the art of the possible, and we put together a report that we produce on a quarterly basis. And the first time we did it, we sent it to all the MPs so they could better understand their constituencies. So we could tell them things like who lives in their area, whether the number of small businesses in that area is growing or declining, what house prices are doing, what are the average mortgage payments, how much people are saving. And so we sent that out to them. We got fantastic feedback, actually. And so now we produce this information monthly, and we're turning it into a responsive website. And that's available to anybody. It's free information, and it's just based on the local area you live in. And then we've started talking about how we build out capability for small businesses. And we've built a new product called Smart Business. We launched it only this year. And the reflection we had as an organisation is that small businesses generally are time poor and data poor. They're trying very hard to run their business, and we have lots of useful information that can help them better understand their business. So we can talk to them about all sorts of things about how their business is performing. How's their cash flow? Make it easy for them to understand their financial position. But the other thing we can do for them is we can help them understand who their customers are. So we can if you're a local Italian restaurant, you don't really know who your customers are. So we can help you. Are they male or are they female? Do they spend lots of money or a little bit of money? We can help them compare them to their peer group, and so we can help them, better understand what runs their business. And then we also give them insight for things they can do to help improve their business. So would you like to target these kinds of customers? This is how you could go about building a marketing campaign. We can help them think about things like, are you paying a lot of money for your energy? Can we help you switch your energy? So it's all about playing back that information in a useful, bite-sized chunks of information to help them make better and more informed decisions. And so that's just been launched this year. And the next piece of information is how can we help corporates? And this is quite an interesting conversation because you'd think that big corporates know lots of things about all their customers, and they struggle just as much as everybody else, actually. And so because we have information about consumers and how they spend, we can help them make informed decisions. We can help them think about where they might put their next store, or if they're in a shopping centre, what kind of brands they'd like to attract into their shopping centre. As an example, we've been doing a proof of concept with a large shopping centre group, and we've been talking to them about, they thought that people came to their shopping centre to shop. They thought, well, a shopping centre, people shop. It's absolutely wrong. People came to eat. So when they're thinking about who they're going to attract, what brands they'd like, then them knowing that people spend more money on food than on dresses is quite an important insight. Or if they understand, if you're thinking about, do I want a hero brand in my shopping centre? If we think of an apple, if there is an apple in my shopping centre, do people spend more? Well, the short answer is actually no, they spend money at Apple. And so how important is Apple? People might think having those flagship brands are important, but they don't understand the impact. We know if someone buys something at Apple, what they might do next. And so providing that insight to corporations actually helps them as well. So this work is in proof of concept. We have some pilots with some some retailers who've got more than one store, and people who own shopping centres and sort of property organisations. And we'll move that into a bigger service next year. And then just finally touch on the thing that I work on, which is a concept around digital identity. Which is using consumer data but in a completely different way that I've just described before. So if you think about today, most people's views about identity, it's a bit of paper. It's my passport, it's my ID card, it's my driving licence. But then if you reflect on all the information we have available to us today, what sits out in the ether and how we can aggregate that data with customers' permission, we can verify that it's genuine, it actually provides a much better way of verifying people's individuals. And so the UK government we're a partner of the UK government in a thing called gov.uk Verify. And what that program does, it enables consumers to get a digital identity, But instead of being provided to by the government, they use commercial organisations, and we're one of them. You create that single digital identity that we're responsible for maintaining and ensuring it's correct and up to date. And then we enable that customer to log on with government services. So things like doing your tax return. And a great example is if a company is liquidated and somebody needs to reclaim a redundancy through the government. At the moment, in the previous example, they needed to fill in a form, wait weeks to find out their outcome. In this new model, they can create their digital identity in about 10 minutes. They fill in the forms in about another 10 minutes, and the decision is almost instant. So this use of customer data to transform their lives, give them better access to products and services, is something we think will transform the way we think about identity. And we're working very closely with the UK government to think about, well, what next? If you've got this digital identity, where else could it create value? Could you use it to open a bank account? Could you use it to help do a foreign exchange transaction? And so there's lots of use cases where having that identity would enable us to reduce friction, improve security, and create a much better customer experience. I think that's it. And I'll leave you with a quote. This is from our annual report. I use this all the time, actually. I've worked for quite a few organisations, and Barclays lives and breathes this. We believe that there is a digital revolution, but we believe that our role is to help customers. We believe that our ambition is to, if we do these things in the right way, if we are custodians of their data, if we help them on that journey, if we make it easier for them to access products and services, then not only will we be successful, but so will they. And without their success, we cannot be successful either.